All right, everybody. Adjust that a little bit. All right, so now we're going to, this is R3. This is our last R3 video. We did properties of exponents, multiplying, adding, subtracting polynomials, and now we have dividing polynomials. So the first type of dividing of polynomials is going to be when we're dividing by a monomial. So notice that a monomial just has one term. It's not separated by addition or subtraction. There's multiple terms in this one. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 terms. Well, that's a polynomial. Well, they're all polynomials. But when it has one term, it's a monomial. And dividing by a monomial is the simplest one. You just, you simplify each of the coefficients. You divide by the coefficients. And then you use the same properties of exponents, the quotient property to simplify the exponents. So first up, so let's see, -4 divided by -2. Well, -4 divided by -2 is 2. And then x squared divided by x squared, they all go away. They all go away. There's no x's left over, right? So this first part just simplifies to 2. And then, let's see, -14 divided by -2 is +7 plus 7. This time I think we're going to have some x's remaining. So I have x to the 6th divided by x to the 2nd. That leaves x to the 4th left over, okay? And then 10 divided by -2 is going to be -5. And then I've got x to the 4th over x squared. So these two are going to cancel. And those two of those x to the 4th will cancel. So I get x squared. And then lastly, this last term, -14 divided by -2 would be +7. And x squared divided by x squared will all go away. All those will go away. And then let's see if we have some like terms to combine. It looks like we do. I have a 7 and a 2 that I combine. So I have 7x to the 4th minus 5x squared plus 7. That would be our answer. And it's a trinomial after we're done with everything dividing. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is dividing with by a binomial, or really anything that's not a monomial. You can use this next method that we're going to talk about, which is long division of polynomials. I'm going to steal a problem from the book if you don't mind. Now, long dividing polynomials is exactly the same as when you were in first grade and you learned how to long divide numbers, okay? Same idea. All right. So, long division, and we're going to see how many times does 2x minus 1 go into 4x cubed minus 8x squared plus 4x plus 6. Do you remember this little long division thing? And you would see how many times does this go into that, and you move it down. It's the same thing except for dealing with polynomials. I'm going to erase this. Shouldn't bother you now. All right, how many times does 2x go in, and when you're doing the long division, just look at the leading term for each one. Put them all in order by degree. Notice we have x cubed, x squared, x. If it's not in that order, you're going to have to rearrange it. Just be careful with the signs. And what we're dividing by here is also, we have the x term first followed by just a number. So that's also arranged by degree. So those are a couple things to point out. So I want to see how many times does 2 go into 4? That's easy, right? What would you multiply 2 by to get to 4? It would be 2. 2 goes into 4 2 times. Now, how many times does x go into x cubed? Now, it can be tricky, but instead of looking at it like that, just like, what did we have to multiply 2 by to get to 4? If you look at what do you have to multiply x by to get to x cubed, and it's so much easier. How many more x's does it need? X squared. So x goes into x cubed, x squared times. if you could see it in another form, it'd be real easy. Like if you saw x cubed over x, that's easy to see, it's x squared. But for whatever reason, whenever it's in this form, I always have a little bit of struggles, but we'll get it, don't worry. So how many times does 2 go into negative 8? Negative 4. Oh my goodness, I forgot a step, I'm so sorry. And I don't want to restart the video, so I'm just going to continue. Before I move on, I have to multiply, just like we did with long division when we were in first grade. I multiplied 2x squared times both of these terms. So 2x squared times 2x is 4x cubed, right? And then 2x squared times negative 1 is minus 2x squared. Good. So if you remember, when you were in first grade and you were doing long division, after you multiplied, what did you do next? You remember? I know it's been a long time, but I'll refresh your memory. You subtract, right? So 4x cubed minus 4x cubed is 0. And negative 8x cubed, x squared minus negative 2x squared, what really, since you have minus negative, it's like you're going to be adding that x squared. That's going to be negative 6x squared. And if you remember, back when we were in kindergarten and we first learned how to long divide for the very first time, we would bring this other stuff down. So I have plus 4x plus 6, just bringing it down. Now we're going to look at the leading terms again. How many times does 2x go into negative 6x squared? Well, how many times does 2 go into negative 6? I would say negative 3 times. And how many times does x go into x squared? Or what would you have to multiply x by to get it to be x squared? Just an x, right? So now I need to take this and multiply, and you just keep repeating the process. So you get negative 3x times 2x is, negative 6x squared, and negative 3x times negative 1 is plus 3x, and now we're going to subtract again. So I subtract, and let's see, if you do it right, your leading term should cancel. Notice the 4x cubed, subtract that cancel, you're left with 0. So I have negative 6x squared minus negative 6x squared, so I'm going to have 0 there again. So now I just have 4x minus 3x, and I just get x plus 6. Now I don't want you to be mad at me for this one, but how many times can 2x go into x? Well, what would you have to multiply 2 by to get 1? I know you're going to get mad, but it's going to be actually 1/2, right? And then now we're ready to multiply, because x goes into x 1 time, so we're just going to have that 1/2 as our answer right up there. I'm going to multiply 1/2 times each of these terms. Let's see what we get. 1/2 times 2x is x, and then 1/2 times negative 1 is negative 1/2, okay? And then what do? We subtract, and we like that the x's went away, and 6 minus negative 1/2. If you want to rewrite 6 so that it's 12 halves, which is the same as 6 but a common denominator, 12 halves minus negative 1/2 is 13 halves, okay? And now, this is important here. So 2x minus 1, 2x cannot go into 13 halves, can it? Because this doesn't have an x. And way back when you were in preschool and you learned long division for the very first time, well, whatever was left over and you couldn't, whatever was out here couldn't go into that anymore, that was what you called your remainder. It's the same. This is going to be our remainder, and there's a way we like to write it. The same way we used to write a remainder as a mixed number back in preschool. But what we do is we take whatever's left here, and we'll say plus, and since we have 13 over 2, then we're just going to leave it over what was out here, 2x minus 1. That's how we would write our remainder. If we have a remainder, it goes over what we're dividing by, okay? All right, so this is our answer, 2x squared minus 3x plus 1/2 plus 13 halves over 2x minus 1. All right. I'm going to give you some of these to practice, and I'll kind of lead the instruction when we get back into the class. But I'm going to go ahead and stop this video here. Thank you so much. You all did great. R3 is in the books. See you next time.